Hi everyone, welcome to this creative sharing event from Worcester City Art Gallery and Museum. This is going to be a collection of creative videos and artworks which have been produced as part of the From the Art Gallery with Love project. So some of the videos will include sculpture, animation, we've got oral history recordings, just a range of different projects to share with you. From the Art Gallery with Love was a digital project to bring culture to people at home. So in the spirit of things, we are recording this in our respective homes over Zoom. We'll also be taking a little bit of time at the end to discuss what it was like to work on a project like this in such a challenging year that we're all having. So firstly, we should probably introduce ourselves. I am Rosie, I'm the museum's digital marketing officer. So my main role in the project is to be promoting and getting the events and exhibitions up on our platforms like YouTube and our website. And today I'm joined by Kate. Kate, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Kate. Thanks, Rosie. So my role within the museum is as a curatorial and exhibitions assistant, but on this project I've mostly been doing admin, but also acting as a point of contact for our wonderful artists. So just to give you a little bit of background to the project, so From the Art Gallery with Love has been a 6-month project, which was funded by Arts Council England's Cultural Response Fund. And this was designed really to support our arts and cultural community through what could potentially have been a devastating period during lockdown. So the City Art Gallery and Museum has commissioned 8 artistic projects in total. That's a total of 13 artists, which is wonderful. So the projects range really in size from small to large projects. And we've also included 3 museum after hours events, which you may have enjoyed online too.
Yeah, it's been fantastic to have the opportunity to share art with people online during this time. The aim of the project really was to bring art and culture into people's homes during a time where a lot of us were relying on our laptops and phones to really connect with the outside world, and that was the only way that a lot of us were doing it, other than our prescribed 1 walk a day. So obviously we're not in lockdown currently, touch wood. We are really pleased to be welcoming visitors into our museums at the moment. However, it is still really important that we are sharing things online. You know, many people will be engaging with us and accessing our collections online, and I think that will remain quite an important part of the way that we interact with culture for quite a number of months probably on from this. So if you haven't already done so, you can have a look at our project hub on our website, and I will just read out the URL so I don't get it wrong. It's museumsworcestershire.org.uk/collections. So from that page you can access a range of things. We've got activities for families on there and for adults as well. We've got online exhibitions, there's all sorts of things, but you will also be able to click on the From the Art Gallery with Love hub. And in that there's a Meet the Artist section. We've got videos on there, there's animations, there's a family video series, poetry, all sorts. So there's loads to enjoy on there to either complement a physical visit to our museums or just to do on a rainy Sunday afternoon if you want to. So all sorts of innovative ways to look at our museum and its collections. It's been really exciting and quite meaningful to connect our local artists with the community, with the From the Art Gallery with Love project. So today, what we're going to be doing is sharing 3 projects with you, which all have a kind of similar theme running through them. They all respond to the current situation that we're in new ways, in creative ways, and quite beautiful ways, I think. So the first project, if we dive right in, is by Julia Letts and Sarah Millin, and it's called The Art of Isolation. This is a fantastic project. Julia and Sarah have been meeting with people from Worcestershire and the local community and getting them to tell their stories of their lockdown experience and share what they went through during that time and how they coped and different things like that. Sarah has then illustrated these stories, and so we'll be sharing 2 of the resulting videos with you today. They are part of a wider series of videos which will become available on our channels, so you can have a look out for those to be appearing very soon. But we're just going to share some 2 of those, some highlights of those videos with you today.
I feel a bit guilty in a way because I have enjoyed it, especially at the beginning. When it was very hot, I came out early in the morning, 6:30, 7 o'clock, and walking in the woods here at Tidsley Wood, there was nobody else about, and it was quiet. There was just bird song. But I did one day see a woodpecker just perched on the edge of a tree before it saw me and flew off. The bluebells were beautiful, really fabulous. And then a little later on, orchids. All these beautiful orchids amongst the bluebells as well. Really lovely. In the orchard adjoining the wood, I did come up here and do some scrub clearance. And it was absolutely fabulous, with all the trees, plum trees mostly, in blossom, and the bees buzzing about. I spent as much time sitting under the trees as I did actually doing the scrub clearance. I'm always picking up odd bits of wood, funny shaped bits, and seed heads and things like that as well. I just think they're beautiful. I've got some, they're from Chinese lanterns, and the outer bit has gone like a skeleton. You can see the seed inside. Really beautiful. It's lovely to be able to explore my creative side, and I can feel it developing. 2 Norwegian chaps set up a knitting project. And so I started doing that. And it was absolutely blissful to be able to do that, sit down at 9 o'clock in the morning if I wanted to, knitting. And nobody to criticise and nothing else to do, no reason why I shouldn't do it. And there was another project, actually, 2 ladies put it up. That was knitting and crochet. I decided I'd do both. And I think they might turn into cushion covers when I work out how to attach the backs. It's been lovely having the time to do it without, fitting it round my other activities. Isolation. Well, before lockdown, I would have thought it meant being locked up in a single cell in a prison. But now, isolation means it's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means being on your own.
My name is Thelma. I first got into care about 12 years ago, and I absolutely love it. I'm an activities lead in Fernhill House care home. When lockdown first started, I was very scared. My biggest scare was for the residents, because they were isolating themselves in the room, they were looking at it on telly, they were reading about it in the papers, they were scared, and then they couldn't see their families, and it was just very difficult. I used to come out of there and I'd go home and I'd be crying, because I'd be so frustrated thinking, what can I do? So we changed the whole activities, we changed everything. The first trolley we did was for sweets. So I was going around to all the rooms giving out sweets. We've got like little striped bags that we put them in, and the residents can pick what they want. Humbugs, jelly babies, there's licorices, Turkish delights. They look forward to getting that. The garden is full of summer flowers. It's every colour, yellow, purples, greens. It's just multicoloured. We've got these big raised beds. So we dug them out, completely dug them out. Then we had like about 15 like individual little pots to go around the home. They organise it themselves because we have these great big trestle tables out there when we're doing the planting. And now they enjoy going out now and actually looking after the plants because they're out there. Conveniently, there would be some balls out there and some exercise stuff. So then they'd start doing that. That's how I would do it. I'd get them out doing one thing, but there'd be other things there if they wanted to do it. Normally, smiles means a lot, especially with a dementia unit. They rely a lot on your facial expressions. So it's so difficult. If you've got a mask on, you can't do that. So it's like you have to train your face that they can see that you're happy. Probably sounds silly, but you really do have to practice it. You're smiling even more just to make your eyes look like you're smiling. Since the lockdown, since the COVID, It's like, oh, you work in a care home, oh, you know, you're brilliant, and all of a sudden we're these great big heroes. And to me, it's just our job.
Fantastic. Thank you, Julia and Sarah, for those. We hope you enjoyed watching those videos. Do let us know what you think in the comments section below and whether you can relate to any of the things that are talked about in those videos as well.
Okay, so our second project comes to us from Rebecca Farkas, and it's called Object Love. Now, Rebecca's idea was really exciting. She got in touch with visitors and staff members and asked them to tell her their favourite objects, be it from our museum collection, things that they've enjoyed on previous visits, or things from around their home, which during a difficult time have taken on new meaning for them. So Rebecca thinks of her work as a moving still life, which brings a new perspective to these things that we collect at home or that we collect in the museum. So we really hope you enjoy this animation. really hope you enjoyed that video from Rebecca. Do let us know in the comments if you recognised any of the objects from the museum, from a previous visit perhaps. There's a few visitor favourites in there. And perhaps you'd like to tell us what your favourite objects are at home.
Yeah, eagle-eyed viewers might be able to spot Albert the albatross, who is usually frequenting our activity space in the art gallery. So our third and final project is from Elsa Fox and Mia Townsend. These two produced a sculpture which was inspired by the period of time during lockdown where they weren't able to see each other, and they were maintaining their relationship in new and creative ways, communicating mainly online. So that's something that obviously probably many of us had to deal with various relationships in our lives, friendships, people that we weren't able to see. So what they did was they used broken laptops and they layered illustrations and 3D work onto the surface to represent their experiences. And obviously the laptops were a reference to the technology which had suddenly become so important in their relationship. So what we've got here is a time lapse of the development of the work, which I always find really fascinating to see things like that. And at the end, you'll also see one of the completed sculptures. I imagine that this could have been a really cathartic process, which gave them a good opportunity to reflect on this kind of strange time in their relationship.
So we hope you enjoyed seeing some of the outcomes of our From the Art Gallery with Love project. If you have and you'd like to see some more really different and exciting ways of exploring our collection, please do head over to the website.
Fab, thank you, Kate. We also just wanted to conclude by saying a little bit about what it was like to work on such a large project from our perspective, from the City Art Gallery and Museums team perspective. It was something that we'd never done before. I think you'll agree, Kate, we've never worked kind of on this scale, and obviously, you know, it is an unprecedented year for the context that we're working with as well. So just from a personal perspective, it was such a fantastic thing to work on, and such a lovely way to feel like we were still connected with the local community, even during our closing period when the museums weren't actually available to visit. I was promoting the event, so I was getting the projects up on our platforms, like I said earlier, but also something that I was able to work on that was new for me was filming and film editing. I've always wanted to do that. It's always been a little bit of, you know, on the list of things that one day I'll teach myself how to do. But this project allowed me to do that and threw me in at the deep end, I suppose. So that was fantastic to be able to develop my skills during that time through this project. The other thing I'd say was that we often don't work with contemporary artists as a museum. We do sometimes, obviously, in creative projects and activities, but never on this scale, and certainly never for me on this scale. Often the artists that we work with and the works that we display are from historical times and historical artists that aren't necessarily alive anymore. So it was a real new experience and something I totally would welcome doing more of, to be able to have a dialogue with the artists, to speak to them about the creative process and be involved with that creative process from the very beginning of the project, when they were having their first ideas, to actually seeing it through to completion and feel like we were in some small way a part of that journey with them. That was really, really lovely. What about you, Kate?
I completely agree. I think it's been fabulous to work alongside our artists. Each and every one of them has surprised us, I think, in just the level of hard work they've been willing to put in, their ingenuity, their ability to go the extra mile, really, to complete a lot of work in a short space of time. And seeing that work come into fruition after, you know, the months that we've worked on this has been really, really rewarding. There's something to see for everybody, for every type of visitor, be it family members or people that just really enjoy seeing art in a new way. And really, I've enjoyed seeing aspects of our collection come to life in these new ways, exploring them in new ways. We often look at objects from a historical point of view, in the same way you mentioned with the artists. This felt new and fresh. Looking at objects in a aesthetic way, as opposed to just their historical significance, that's been really refreshing. And it's been a learning curve for me too, like working with the collections a little more, getting to know them a little more. We're both still quite new, I think, in our roles by comparison to some of the team, so that's been quite nice. It's been a nice experience. Working from home has had its challenges for all of us, but I
think everybody will be able to relate to that, won't they?
That's very true. But I think the project has brought into sharp relief the need for this kind of work to go ahead, and to keep pushing for new ideas and new ways of exploring our collection and increasing its reach. So yeah. I think that's been really important.
I think so, and I think it will continue to be important even as we, you know, come out of the situation that we're in, and even as, you know, lockdowns lift and we return back to normal life. I think, you know, improving our access to our collections is something that is always going to be a positive step, and it's been a real pleasure to think that we've contributed to the sustainability of, you know, art and culture and our organisation as well, you know, through this project, and generated connections with people and the artists that work in the local area, and just got to know that network of creatives and all that talent that is around us all the time. To get to know some of the faces, you know, in that community a little bit better has been such a pleasure as well. Yeah, so really. I think that concludes our sharing. Thank you so much for joining us. Do let us know what you think in the comment section below, and do check out the From the Art Gallery with Love hub, which you can find on our website, as we've mentioned a couple of times. If you would mind clicking on the link to fill out a very short questionnaire in the description box, that would be fantastic as well. It lets us know what you've enjoyed about the things that we've been sharing online, what we can do more of, and just, you know, what you've enjoyed, and lets us kind of improve for the future and yeah, be more sustainable. And there's also a prize draw which is running through November as well, so you can win a lot of art gallery goodies, Museums Worcestershire travel mugs and tote bags and family tickets to the Commandery and things like that. So all the details of that will be below. But thank you for joining us, and thank you for joining me, Kate.
Thanks, Rosie. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.